I'm not gonna make this into a show about going to the bathroom, but imagine it's 11:15. You had 4.5 hours of sleep and you woke up because you're over 40. It is raining. And you had to use this shitty ass gas station restroom. Welcome to Truck Sim Diaries. In this video series, I record my Euro Truck Simulator 2 gameplay and I use it as a backdrop for my unscripted thoughts on what's going on in my life and the world around me. Sometimes I will have a lot to say, sometimes I will just comment on the gameplay, and sometimes I will just be quiet. Either way, I'm glad you're here. So let's get out of the rain into the truck and take a look at where we are. And we're in Greece. We passed the border crossing from Turkey yesterday. That was here. So we have a nice drive along the east coast of Greece through Thessaloniki, Larissa, Lamia, and then Athens. Our destination is good old-fashioned Vilko. Been there 100 times. First thing though, get the rest of our sleep. Oh, it's still raining.
Let's go.
Let's go. And it is another early morning for me in real life. Weekend is here. I woke up early and figured, well, why not? So this was the only rest required for this job. Rest of it is, we got 549 kilometers to go, so it's a short trip. Won't need another rest. And I'm early because of two reasons. One, because you remember how I talked about how I was going to make changes to my sleep schedule. Well, I did. And it works wonders. I've made a couple of big changes to my life. Or I should say to my life, rather. One being the changes to the sleep schedule. And a couple of other habitual changes. But the sleep is so what it did is I got really good at going to bed early. Hold on, the fucking field of view is different. I need to change this. Let's see. Here we go. Field of view. We should be around here-ish. Alright, yeah, that's not bad. So I got really good at going to bed in time. It's just as simple as that. And so what I do is I make sure that at 9:30 everything is just off. No distractions. No, no checking anything up. No hyper-focusing on anything. Just Video gaming goes off. And I go ahead and get ready for bed. And then I go to bed. And when I get to bed, I go to sleep. So no, like, I made a couple rules for myself, like no, you know, no phone, no screens of any kind in bed. And it felt fucking weird at first because I was like, oh, what am I gonna do then?
And then exit
Like,
right.
you know? What am I gonna do? Sleep?
Exit right.
Yeah. Figured, yeah, let's try that. So, so no screen, and I go to bed, and I just lay there for a little bit, just looking at the ceiling. It sounds fucking weird, and it feels fucking weird too, but yeah, it works really well. For me, at least. Because I'm used to, like, scrolling, you know? You fucking... I mean, like, you know, Instagram Reels? Or that kind of format? I guess the whole, like, I guess TikTok is kind of what that whole thing is about. I opted out of new social media when it's like Instagram was my last one, so I never got around to installing TikTok, thankfully. But it's like, you know, they really, you know, figured out how to, you know, how food can be, you know, if it's the perfect balance of fat, salt, and sugar, the human mind just can't stop. Like, we
Keep
just
left,
gotta have it,
and then turn left.
and we gotta have an endless supply of it, so we eat ourselves to death on it.
Turn
That's the
left.
kind of real format. That's gotta be like. It feels so out. You know, it feels so studied, like this is how you catch humans. Just one more, you know? Just one more of anything. Or it's just me, because I was really like, I got really hooked to that format, and it doesn't have to be like super rewarding or anything. It's just a little bit. And then one more. And then one more. And all of a sudden, you know, you're fucking in the middle of the night. So I figured that has to go, because I was just wasting time, just sabotaging my sleep. Can I fucking just speed past this, you think? Come on, guys. You can do better than this. I guess what it really comes down to is you remember how I talked about how I played EVE Online a lot? And going into EVE Online, I kind of knew that, you know, I've been avoiding EVE Online because I knew that if I get into EVE Online, it is going to be really hard for me to get out of it. And I think I had a really bad video game, like gaming addiction that has been going for years, and it's kind of hard to define it, because it kind of comes and goes, and I guess that's with like everything. but it's always kind of been there. It's like I thought about it as I don't know, like thought about like my way of just unwinding. But like if I connect the dots or whatever, just I can see this pattern of I got into this habit at least of like sacrificing real life things to be able to get a couple more, you know, minutes of gaming. Like if I really hurry up and clean the kitchen really fast, then I can get 20 minutes of gaming. And this has kind of always been there. Like I'm like, well, I'm really enjoying this, and you know, it gives me peace and relaxation, which you know, honestly, it was a crock of shit. Like that was that was fucking. That was an addict talking. And yeah, it was just constantly, you know, down prioritizing, you know, real life things. And we're talking real life things. We're talking, you know, my house, my home, my kids, my wife. It wasn't like they're not neglected or anything, but there was for sure instances where I could have, you know, could have done a lot better. Yeah, like I said, that's always kind of been there. But I kind of figured it out, like, I figured it was like normal gaming. That's how I explained it. I was like, yeah, this is, you know, this is normal, you know? But then I started EVE Online, and I've been avoiding EVE Online because I kind of, in the back of my head, I knew that EVE Online is too much for me. Like, it is the perfectly fried burger patty. It is the perfectly salty cheddar cheese sriracha sauce burger with like the perfect fries. Like, you know, it's the perfect junk food for my brain. Because if I get into EVE Online, I don't know if I can get out, you know? In the back of my head, I didn't formulate it like this, but I kind of knew that because I knew the complexity of EVE Online, and I kind of, you know, on some level, I guess I knew that I was kind of addicted to video games, but choose to ignore it or whatever. So anyway, I guess I was in a point in my life where I felt that I needed the distraction because it was spring. And spring is always a little emotional for me. It's, you know, it's the end of winter and I should be happy, but I'm not because I just came out of a winter. But I think I should be happy because this is the winter that I have been waiting for. Why am I not happy, you know? Those are the kind of thoughts that exist in my head. And well, I wasn't motivated to do any of the things that I usually like. Like, I love mountain biking, I love kayaking, I love working out, I love I'm not gonna say I love running because I don't, but I do it. I love that I can do it, but I didn't. I'm a slow starter with all these things come spring, but this spring I was like, I'm not feeling it at all. And then I saw this. There was this, I guess they were pushing EVE Online like in social media or whatever, because I got exposed to some commercial or whatever, an ad of some kind. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, oh yeah, fuck man, EVE Online is just that's salty, fatty, sweet. Yeah, I can try a little EVE Online. I can do that. It's fine. I can quit whenever I want. So I did, and I got really sucked in, like really, really sucked in. So I installed it. I got really hooked on it. And, you know, I've had those situations before. My wife is kind of, she's been God rest her, she's a fantastically patient woman. And she's very kind. And she's like, she's figuring, well, you know, he says he needs, you know, he says he needs the rest or whatever.
Caution. Please mind the speed.
But she's been, you know, straight with me, like, you're, you know, pointing it out that I'm away a lot.
Caution. Please watch the speed limit.
And I've been like, yeah, but, you know, I work really hard, or whatever. But I think maybe I needed EVE Online to kind of, you know, crystallize it down so that there is no, you know, for me to not be able to deny that this is a problem that I have. Because I was really like, every moment that I wasn't, you know, where my focus wasn't acutely required to be somewhere else, my focus was on EVE Online. On the corporation, which was with other players, and because there were other players, I had this FOMO sensation, you know, fear of missing out. Just constantly, you know, on the prowl for, you know, what are they gonna do? What are they doing? Just looking, there's so much stats to look at, so if I'm not in the spaceship flying and they are, I can kind of take a look at what they're doing on the stats, and I, you know, was hyper-focusing on, which is a topic in and of itself, which is my hyper-focus. I'm gonna talk about that, but I won't be able to, you know, one issue at a time. But yes, my focus was on video games like EVE Online. As soon as I didn't absolutely, like, if I wasn't driving, I was looking at EVE Online stuff. If I didn't have to cook, or if I didn't have to clean the kitchen as fast as I could, I was looking at my phone, looking up EVE Online stuff. I was looking at my PC, looking at playing EVE Online. I had 2 accounts on EVE Online playing at the same time, just completely cooking my mind, just injecting it raw right into the brain. At that point, I was like, well, obviously, this is not working very well. So it got so bad that I could no longer ignore it, and then, you know, summer vacation came along. I wasn't like, you know, letting laundry pile up or anything, but I was doing bare minimum at home and as a parent. It was not constant over a year, but when it was bad, I was just doing bare minimum, and, you know, they deserve better than bare minimum. And then summer vacation came along and we had to go on a trip. And I had planned to bring my laptop with Evon. Like, can you imagine? It sounds fucking crazy. I'm embarrassed talking about this. But, so I remember I turned my PC off when it was time to leave, and I was like, fuck! I had my laptop ready, and I was like, yeah, just... This is the point where it changes, like... fuck it, you know? That's when I got into the point where I couldn't ignore it, and whenever I get to that point, I am, you know... I am pretty good at changing, I suppose. Because that's when I was like, you know, I really felt that, you know, changes need to happen. So I made some huge changes to myself, like dramatic changes to my habits, to my life. One is, for a long time I stopped gaming altogether. Because now it's gotten to this point where it's... So I used to run this gaming community. Where I would organize these game nights for us to play. It was military shooter style. And now I feel like I stopped doing that when I stopped playing EVE Online, and that's when I started playing EVE Online. I stopped doing that community because, like I said, EVE Online just took over everything. And as much as it pains me to have you know, quit organizing that community, it is a big load off my shoulders, because I had been ignoring how much, you know, how much effort that running that community took, because we did game nights like maybe 2 or 3 times a week, where I was like, I don't know, team leader or whatever. So I had to manage everything. And it was just burning me out, man, like really fast. It was fun because I liked you know, each and every instance of it was fun. And especially the friends that I made. But man, the price of running that was way too high for me. So it was like when I got out of that, I was like, shit. I started playing EVE Online. EVE Online just took over everything. And then when I stopped playing EVE Online, I stopped playing everything. That's why there was this whole, you know, gap in this in these videos. And after like, so that was, I don't know what you would call that, detox. So after that, you know, I could see things a little clearer, and that's when I realized how much running that gaming community cost. You know, me in like energy that I don't have, how much it was burning me out. And I got into this like no nonsense look on gaming and why I do it and what it does to me, you know? After a couple sessions of gaming, what have I, you know? I'm not saying gaming is bad. Obviously, I'm doing it now. But like for me, after a session, after 10 sessions, after, you know, in the way I do it, what do I gain from it and what does it cost me, you know? And how do I want to keep doing it going forward? And at first it was like, the only thing that has been, you know, as far as how I feel about it, the only thing that was, you know, exempt from it is Euro Truck Simulator, because it is a single player experience without, you know, there's no, you know, I don't have to do anything. There's no, you know, there's no rush. There's no, I won't gain anything from finishing a shipment. Like from completing, I won't gain anything from completing a job, and I won't lose anything from not doing it. You know, it just is, and that's like, we can also get into that later. How that's the whole recipe of success for Euro Truck Simulator overall. Should write that down. Get back to it. I'm sure we'll remember. If I forget to talk about this, please remind me. So coming back to the PC was like, you know, I'm not at the point where I feel like I'm gonna, you know, move out into a cabin in the woods without electricity and just live there. That's not, you know, that's not what's going on. But rather have like a healthy relationship to
Keep right
to pastime,
and then exit right.
not make it a, you know, not make it the reason I live,
Exit
but rather,
right.
you know, a piece of enjoyment that is there if I get the time to, you know, if I am awarded with that time, I will.
Get ready to turn right.
And if I get the time to do it, I can do it and enjoy it.
Turn right.
But not, you know, not let it dictate my life, I suppose. So anyway, how have you been doing? Yeah, this is hard. This has been hard for me, like, because there's a lot of shame in, you know, realizing that you have a problem and admitting that you have a problem. I don't have a problem. For me, it's, I can admit to myself that I have a problem because my internal dialogue is, you know, it's pretty square, but, you know, admitting this to others is a little embarrassing. But that's also part of this project where I you know, talk about embarrassing things. So yeah, I'm moving forward with a different approach to gaming.
Keep right and then turn right. Turn right.
There's the old Burgerino.
to turn left.
Like, I allow myself to enjoy Euro Truck Simulator because I feel that
Turn
this, like I said, there's no pressure here. I am in no rush to play it. And also, it is a creative outlet for me. And this whole journaling thing that I'm doing now, it is very important to me and it makes me feel very good. So I highly recommend it for anyone. Maybe not necessarily a YouTube channel where you do it in front of everyone else, but on a notepad document in the PC or phone or whatever, just not just journal what you've done. Not like, today I did this, this, and this. Well, if you want to, you can, of course, go ahead and do that. But also, like, be honest with yourself and your emotions. You know, how did the things that happened during the day make you feel? How did your interactions with people made you feel? I'm looking for a drop-off point here, but can't really see it. It's not at the regular place.
You have arrived at your destination. Your route guidance is now finished.
Do we go over here? No. It's not over here, right? Is it? Alright, let me get out of the truck. Oh, it's right here. It is the regular place. It's just that I remember how I installed the... We now have the mod that removes the 3D symbols. I was looking for these lines in the road, or sorry, in these markers. So these markers here, those are the ones that we're looking for. I just couldn't see them. So it's the regular place. That feels good. Don't want to change too many things all at once. So yeah, journaling, I can highly recommend. Be honest with yourself, you know, about your emotions. And it feels fucking weird. It still feels weird to me doing this. Like, it really does. I am red-faced half the time, but afterwards, it kind of feels good. I had a lot of things I was going to talk about today. I have this list of things I want to tell you. But yeah, I guess it turned into finally being honest about my video game addiction. Because you deserve to know. Alright, let's unload it. Alright. We went from Istanbul, trade market. That was the last episode we started, so this was 2 episode job. So it's a long one, but we just did a little bit of it on this. Anyway, we went to Vilko in Athens. 1,056 kilometers with 35 liters per 100. So it wasn't as low as I would have hoped it to be, but we are doing better at least. I'm still working on trying to figure out what kind of. I think I can change a couple of things. Like beside my. I changed the tires of the truck recently. So maybe I can fiddle around with that. No damage, 1 hour and 12 minutes. Tollgate fined. Illegal border crossing. Right, I was surprised about that one. I need to be more prepared next time to make sure that I follow all the instructions. This is realistic because I could very much accidentally do something like this. Tollgate. No damage, like I said. 21,848. We paid some taxes, other costs, and fuel. Revenue is 15,762. This job cannot be considered hardcore simulation because of wrong realistic setting. Right. I turned the fatigue off when I was showing a friend this game he was visiting. I was going to talk about that, but I guess we'll do it at another time. So no hardcore, no stars for this one, but that's fine. All right. Thank you for taking the time with us. It really means a lot to me. I appreciate it. Remember to make smart decisions and take care of yourself. You are important, and you need to last for a long time. Bye.